ball yet, let's just roll those shoulders up, back and down a couple times, loosen up that upper body, step out, add a little bend of your knees as you roll through a little bit of a cat, abs in, and extend open and squeeze through the cow. So rolling and lifting and opening, just a couple more times. Beautiful. Then we're going to grab that ball. We're going to keep that wide stance. We're going to turn our toes out, arms straight, so try not to be wimpy. And then bend your knees and sit into a beautiful plie. Lift up on your toes and then come up, and then heels come down. So you're going to come down, lift the heels, whoops, and press up and come down. So come up on your tippy toes and down on your heels. Up on your tippy toes, down on your heels, up on your tippy toes, down on your heels. One more time like that, tippy toes, heels. Now, lift your tippy toes, come down on your tippy toes, press into the heels, and come up. You'll feel that a little bit more in the glutes, hopefully. Your arms are straight, right? You're not being saggy-baggy. And lift again, sit down, heels come down, and then lift up. Oh, sorry, that was heels down, press up, now heels up, sit down, press the heels down, come up. And then one more time, up on the tippy toes, down, press the heels into the ground, and come on back up again. All right, from there, yep, we're gonna go ahead and sit on that ball. And just be centered, forward, back. Let me close this curtain so you guys don't have that bright light. Apologies. Okay, so just sitting right on top of that ball, centered. And we're going to go ahead and go into a wide stance for just a second. We're going to continue that cow, cat, or that reindeer cat movement. So lift the chest and then exhale, tuck. You can let that ball round a little bit. And then inhale, open. Good morning, Randy. And exhale, roll. And one more time, inhale, open. We're in that cow. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to start with a little tap out of our feet. Just get a little action going here. And then we're going to add some arm movement, nice and easy here. And then if you want to, you can do both legs at the same time, and you can get a little bounce to it, or you can start and turn it into a little bit of a jumping jack. So a little bit more cardio, a little bit more warming up. And then a little variation if you want, arms come in front or to the side or alternate. Last couple. And relax. Woo, slow that bounce down. Give your heart rate a moment to come down. And then shoulders roll out of your ears. Sitting nice and tall. All right, just a couple quick reminders. We stay on the ball here, right? So right hand up, make that promise to the ether world. I promise I will not fall off the ball. Hold you to that. Okay. So feet are knee width apart, which should be hip distance apart. Or, well, let's go ahead. Let's do that. Straighten those legs out. And then just slide forward so that ball supports your low back and you're on a little bit of angle. I'll turn sideways in just a second. From this position, you should feel your abs engaged. You should feel your quads working. Knees are directly over your heels. Then if you want to, walk those feet out and notice how that gives you so much wider and better support. So if ever you need to, if you need more support during class, legs go wide. And now let's walk those feet all the way to touch. And you should find that that creates a little bit more instability, a little bit more wobble. So let's go back to knee distance apart. Make sure you're feeling your abs working already. Shoulders out of your ears. Lower your hands. Exhale, pull your belly button in to roll back just a couple of inches. Inhale at the back. and come up a couple of inches. So it's a small movement. We're going from about a 45-degree angle back a couple degrees and up a couple degrees, exhaling back and inhaling up. Good, just a couple more here. Then we're going to stay back this time. We're going to open those arms and feel a little more challenge. Then we're going to tap to one side, lift the other arm, tap and rotate, tap and rotate. Make sure you're not so rounded that you're grinding on those vertebrae. So feel like you're lifted. You're not arched up over the ball. Your tailbone and your sacrum are putting you on this angle. And again, I'm going to go sideways at this point so you guys can see a little better. So again, you're kind of on this angle as you rotate. Just a few more here. Beautiful. And now you're going to go ahead and allow that back to roll underneath your low back. Walk your feet out and give your head a little bit of support here so that your chest will expand. You're getting a nice stretch across those pectoral muscles. Remember, we don't want to interlace and pull on that head. We just want to give it some support in this position. Deep breath in, let the ribs go up and over, rib cage up and over the ball, and then exhale, close those ribs as you press into the ball and lift that forehead to about parallel position. So we inhale up and over, we exhale to close. If you want a little more support, you can always crisscross your wrists and cradle your head on top of your forearms. You could extend those arms and crisscross at the wrist for a little more challenge. And you could add a little squeeze, lift the glutes as you lift your head. So inhale up and over, squeeze and lift the glutes is your last option. Beautiful. And now you're just going to walk a little bit further. I'm going to have to reformat here, but maybe you can still see me. So your head is on the ball, but your hips are off. So we have a tendency to want to droop and drag those hips, so let's lift them up. So once again, a little more supportive is going to be legs super wide. Your hands can be behind you, they can be out to the sides to counterbalance. Now walk those feet back in so they're hip distance, see how that is, and then walk them to touch, and that should be more challenging. For the next level, let's bring those feet a little wider and see if you can lift a foot. Just a foot. If you can lift a foot, try and lift a knee. If you can lift a knee, try and lift a leg. And if you can lift a leg, try and give me a circle up in the air. So you're just going to play with this for a few seconds. That should be working those glutes, working your balance. And then when you're ready, go ahead, let's roll all the way up. Sit nice and tall on that ball again. Let go with your hands, or you can hold on to the ball. And you really want to be centered because you're going to try to lift your feet off the ball. And see if you can balance, right? See what happens. Feet in the air, arms doing whatever. If you can do that, try to tip and tuck. Tip and tuck. If you can do the tip and tuck, keep your feet off the ground and give me a side to side. And if you can do all of that, you can do a circle. Again, the challenge is the feet off the ground, not the movement. If your feet are on the ground, you're doing the movement, that's just good for your pubic muscles and pelvic muscles, but not as much for your balance here. So feet up in the air, even if all you're doing is finding out if you can do that. All right, relax. We're going to come on down to the ground. We're going to bring our balls with us, of course. Lying down position, grab hold of that ball. Hold it between your hands. And it's just right above your chest. Good. Let's squeeze that ball as hard as you can so you feel a little bit of tricep work here. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Inhale, bring that ball up overhead. And exhale, come back down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale back to center and down. Deep breath in, prepare. Exhale, lift, arms go overhead. Option, bounce the ball, catch the ball. And then come back down. Inhale, lift, or exhale, lift. Inhale, arms overhead, bounce the ball, catch the ball, and exhale back down. Sorry, I have two cats cowering every time I bounce the ball. Exhale, lift. Inhale, I'm gonna bounce, kids. Bounce, bounce, and then back up. I'm gonna quit bouncing the ball, but you guys can continue that. It's just a little entertainment. Last time, bring those legs in tabletop, put the ball on the knees. Make sure you didn't bring your knees into you. You're just holding the ball there. Deep breath in, exhale, lift up. Without moving your knees toward you, how far can you roll that ball to your ankles? Then roll it back to the knees, extend the legs and reach. We're gonna do that same thing again. Bend, roll it up a little bit, roll it back a little bit and extend. Onto the knees. Maybe you want to roll all the way up, all the way back down, and then don't forget your extension. So basically we're doing double leg stretch with a little bit of extra entertainment. And then this time we're going to go up. We're going to come down, all the way down, legs wide. Put that ball between your inner thighs. Hold on to the ball at the top, and because if your legs are a little slippery, I want you to start squeezing that ball, and if your leggings are a little slippery, it might swoop up to the sky. So you should feel inner thigh work here. And now release that and do that again. Squeeze, 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 and release. We're going to do that a couple times. Squeeze as tightly as you can. Release, and one more time. Squeeze, hold that squeeze. Feel those inner thighs, and then relax. Now we're going to lift those legs up tabletop, and we're going to do that same squeeze, but we're going to bring the ball, instead of inner thighs, down kind of between our knees and our shins. We're going to squeeze that ball as we lower our legs forward for toe touch. Inhaling, exhale, squeeze back up again. If you want, point your toes on the way down, exhale, flex on the way up. And at some point, release that squeeze, preferably when you come up for a second, right? So that you're not squeezing that whole time with those inner thighs. They deserve a break. If you want a little more challenge, bring that ball up towards your ankles and then go into a straight leg lower, double leg lower. Keeping your hips nice and even, keeping that low back firmly on the ground. And relax for just a second. Bring the soles of the feet together, let those inner thighs get a break. Take the ball on the right inner thigh. Just let the weight of the ball give you a little extra stretch there. And then roll it over to your left inner thigh. Beautiful. All right, we're going to bring that ball onto our ankles. We're going to try and hold it there as we roll like a ball without kicking the ball across the room, hopefully. And then next time you come up, go ahead, widen those legs, sit up nice and tall, scoot your hips back, put your hands on top of the ball, bring it kind of close so that as you press down, your spine gets taller. Then you can start to straighten out your legs if your body allows you to do that with a long, tall spine. Then you can hinge forward a little and then press down again. And then hinge forward a little and press down, hinge and press, hinge and press. So a little different version of spine stretch, hopefully. And relax. We'll just do one more little version of roll downs. We basically did this on the ball. So we're just going to do a quick little set. We exhale, we hinge back, we inhale, lift the ball, and we exhale up. Inhale at the top. You can lift if you want, don't have to. Exhale back, inhale, lift. Same thing again. And then if you want, you can stay with that, or you can hinge back and rotate. Hey, babe. Please join us. And then just come on up, soles of the feet together again for that inner thigh stretch. This time as you hinge forward, you get to round and flex to the spine. All right, for this next round, you're going to want to have a lot of space out in front of you, and you may need some extra cushioning for your knees. So I'm going to fold my mat up. I'm going to scoot back. So I'm almost behind the Christmas tree where someone is snooping in the gifts. What are you doing? She already found the cat gifts. Okay, so we're going to be on that folded up mat. We're going to bring that ball really nice and close to us. So it's almost against your thighs, and then you tuck yourself in between, right? So my elbows are down close to my thighs. My arms are squinched up together. And then I'm going to start to come forward. I'm going to lift all 10 toes up in the air so that I can roll onto the fronts of my thighs. And then without dropping my abs or scooping my tailbone up, I'm going to slide out and try and get myself in a straight line from my head to my hips. And then I'm going to pull back. And that pull back is where you're really going to feel this. So you stretch yourself out basically in a plank position and pull yourself in. So keep going with that for me, please. Stretching out and pulling in, stretching out and pulling in. And then this time you're going to go out, you're going to hold that plank as best you can, and then pull the ball underneath you. We get to do the favorite flop. So that ball is underneath your belly button supporting you, so you can just relax for a moment. And then you're going to tuck your toes. You're going to straighten your legs, and that should bring you up on an angle. Now you have the option to go really wide legs, feet wider than your mat, or a little more hip distance, totally up to you. Support the ball, support yourself with hands on the ball, and then just give yourself a really nice passive. Use mostly your arms for these first few. So you're getting a spinal extension without using those muscles much at all, just mostly using your arms to get it. But then come up on tippy fingers and start to use some back muscles. And then if you want to go a little further, hands down by your sides and turn this into just a nice extension. Beautiful. Then we're going to stay up and we're going to extend your right arm and then left arm. So sort of a half of a bird dog here, right arm and left arm. And then we're going to walk a little further forward so that our hips come up and our feet come down so that we're in an inverted V. Then feet are going to come together, head down, lift the legs together. We're working that same part of the low back, but this is what we call a reverse hyperextension. Really good for that low back if you don't have any aches and pains and issues right now. Beautiful. Then bring those legs up and straighten your arms and see if that ball is basically underneath your hips. Walk your hands out so they're under your shoulders and make sure that you have at least a foot between your hand and the ball, the back of the hand and the ball. You're going to bend your elbows backwards, and as you do so, you're going to lower your upper body and raise your lower body. You're not even really raising your lower body, it's just the inverted movement to counterbalance your head and torso going down. We're doing a Pilates push-up. You should feel this in your triceps and your chest. You may feel a little bit of glute work. If you need more challenge, walk your hands about a handprint forward. Roll the ball a little further down your body so it's closer to your hip flexors and thighs. And now more of your weight is over your hands, and that creates a bigger challenge for those triceps. Make sure your feet are going up the same amount your head's going down, so it's not like this, right? Its head goes down, legs go up. And then we'll take a little break here and we'll square everything back up. Feet are touching, knees are touching. I want you to lift your quads so you don't have a bent knee like that. Stretch. You're just in a beautiful plank here. At any point you want to stop, that's where you stop. Any point you want to, you just roll off the ball or walk backwards. If you want more challenge, you walk your hands out forward and you drag that ball so now it's more underneath your mid-thigh to even your knees. If you want more than that, you drag that ball underneath your shins, and I know I'm going to go off screen. You'll see my feet. And then finally, if you want, you can drag that ball so it's underneath your ankles or even your feet. But you really have to press that floor away with your upper body. You have to pull those abs in. Use everything you've got to be in a nice straight line. Make sure your quads are lifted. And then when you're ready, take a flop. I don't know if you guys can see this, but Nutmeg has positioned herself among the packages. I think she even put one underneath. Okay. All right. Just so enjoying this flop for a second. And then we're going to come back out where our feet are on the ground and our arms are up. And we're going to do that same arm extension, but this time we're going to lift the opposite leg. So a little more challenge in that bird dog position. Opposite arm, opposite leg. You're going to feel that backside working. Keep your head in line with your spine. Try and lift that arm higher than your ear. Try and hold at the top for a second. And then relax. And then the last thing we're going to do is a Superman. See if you can get all four limbs off the ground at the same time. And hold it at least for a second or two. If your face gets close to the floor, please put your hands down. Don't face plant. And if you don't like that, go back to single arm, single leg. And then finally, flop it up again. Oh, it should feel really good. Okay, let's go ahead. You're going to keep your mat folded, but I folded mine twice, so I'm going to only unfold it once so that you end up on the mat, but the ball is going to end up off the mat. So I'm going to sit at the very front of my mat, and then when I lie down, I'm on the mat, but the ball is on the floor. And all we have to do at first is straighten those legs out and enjoy a very nice little moment here before we work really hard with our backside. So ribs pull in, abs pull in, press your heels into the ball to lift up in your first bridge. So this one should be somewhat pleasant. You can make it more challenging by hovering your hands. You could make it more challenging by bringing your feet to touch. And if it's already too challenging, you bring them apart, right? You could lift one leg up and lower it 3 times. And then from there, put your hips down for just a second. Stick with that or roll the ball so that now your feet are on, let's call it 1 o'clock of the ball. And then lift up and your hips will obviously be much higher. Again, you could hover your hands for more challenge, see how your feet want to wobble, and maybe that's all you do. Or you bring the feet together and see if that makes more challenge, or you try that single leg. And I would suggest you put your hands back down before you do that. And then come down. You're welcome to stay with that, option 2. Or option 3, you're going to roll the ball so far forward that it almost touches your hamstrings and your heels are the only thing on top of the ball. And then once again, here we go, lift, 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 lift. You're gonna be really high. Option to simply hover those hands or legs together, lift and lower. One of the options, whichever one you want. And then we come down and roll the ball back out to where we started. Arms go up overhead, point your toes, reach your fingers, tuck your hips, and then roll them open. A little bit of movement through that low back before we do the last two things in this series, a big hamstring and glute series. So we start from that same position. As always, if you walk your ankles and knees and toes to touch, this is going to be A, more challenging, and B, you're going to work those hamstrings a little bit differently. As you are ready, deep breath in, exhale, lift it up in your first bridge, then roll the ball in, hamstring curl. Now you are welcome to lift your hands up, but I want this more about the pure hamstring work than the balance. So I would just keep your hands down. If you want to, a little more challenge, right leg up in the air, roll it in and out with the left. And then right leg down, left leg up, roll it in and out with the right. Take a quick break, roll the ball in, put your feet on it, make sure your knees aren't gapping open, lift your hips up in the air as high as you can go, and now tap them down and up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, up, almost there. Last one. Ah, whew. All right, bring that down. Roll the ball into your left leg, move that left leg to the left. Grab hold of the back of your right hamstring and hug that in, just nice and easy for a moment. Let it flop open, let it move away. Bring it back to center and up and over. And then go the other way, knee in and then over and open. And roll through that ankle. And then come on back through center, knee through center. Take that right ankle across the left thigh, and then roll the ball towards you to increase that stretch on the outside of that right hip. That should feel pretty darn good. And then put the right leg on the ball next to the left. Hopefully it feels better. Roll the ball over to the right, put that left knee in. And then come back through center, left ankle across the right thigh, bend the right knee, squeeze that in. Big stretch on the outside of that left hip. And then left leg goes out. Let's point the toes and reach the fingers, let the ribs lift up. And then exhale, tuck the hips under, flex the feet. Here's a big challenge, start to roll yourself up. If this isn't gonna happen for you, you can grab your hamstrings or you can just bring your feet off the ball. Otherwise, come up, check it out, easiest teaser you've ever done. Point the toes now, shoulders back and down, lift those arms, holding, 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 and bring it down. Ha! Right, easy teaser. Okay, we're coming up onto the mat now, and that ball is gonna be at our right hip. We're gonna lean up against it with our right hip, bring that left leg in front, right leg is behind, and then let's straighten them both out. So it's basically like a really wide angle side plank. Let's lift that top arm up, use that bottom arm to press up and down. Up and down one more time, up and down. Then challenge, can you go just fingertips? And last challenge, can you take that hand off the ball and lift? The lift might not be as high. Beautiful. Now we're going to stay lifted for just a moment, and then we're going to relax into the ball. Put your bottom hand on it, take your top hand up and around, let the ball come underneath you, and that should stretch out that top hip, should be left hip, and low back. And then we're going to come down and go the other way. You guys are anyway. All right, ball is up against your left hip, sorry. Right leg on top, left leg behind. And again, sort of a side plank. I'm going to use my arm to support it. And then fingertips. And then no hands if possible. And then we're just going to hold it up. And then roll that ball underneath, top arm up and over. Good. And now we're going to come down. We're going over to that first side one more time. This time when you come down, you get to put your right hand on the ground, which you would think would be helpful, which it is. But the challenge is your feet are stacked up this time, which means we don't have that nice wide base of support. You're going to try and be in a straight line, but if that won't happen, then you can walk both feet a little bit in front of you for a little better support. Otherwise, top leg goes up to your hip height. And if you can, top hand is off the ball, but if you need it here for support, keep it there. Give me some small circles in one direction and reverse. Give me some medium-sized circles and reverse. And then give me some big old circles. Can they be as big as the ball without falling off? And go the other way. And bring that down. Other side. So ball is against that left hip. And again, that left hand gets to be down for support, but legs are stacked. Top leg comes up. And we do small circles. And reverse. And then we go bigger circles, medium size, and reverse. And then ball size circles. And the other way. And relax. Ooh. All right. Carefully flip over so the ball comes underneath you, and then bring it with you as you come into a little squatty position. So ankles are pretty close to your thighs, your hamstrings, body is leaning up against the ball, and then option one, just let your head rest on the ball, arms can open. A little more, go ahead and press into sort of a bridge and let your whole body get this beautiful open stretch. Last option, I'm only going to demo for a second. You could let your head go up and over. I'm not going to go all the way. And you can get that beautiful chest opener with a little inversion. So 3 options, you pick the one that works best for you. And then when you're ready, you're going to curl up and at the same time roll yourself back up on that ball for me, please. All right, we're going to take a moment and do a little bit of stretching on the ball, which actually adds that balance challenge one more time. So get a good stance, and again, feet can be a little further apart for better balance. Let's take that left leg across the right one, and then you're going to push into the ball so you're very tall. And that'll give you more support. And then flex through that heel and hinge forward as you push the ball back. So you're pushing the ball back, your chest is coming forward. It should be a really awesome stretch for that outer hip. And then sit up, and if it's okay with you, take that leg across. Then your right hand comes across and your left hand goes behind. So we're getting a little twist here. and then nice and easy, derotate. Now we're going to take that right ankle across the left thigh, and then it really helps to push into the ball so your spine gets tall. If you want more, you roll the ball back, keep the foot flexed, hinge at the hips, tall spine. And then if it's okay with you, cross that leg all the way over, left hand across the right, and twist. And then untangle, come on back through center. All right, let's go ahead and do that wide stance again. Open up in your cow, send that tailbone back, and then exhale, tuck and round, and the ball will roll underneath you, and then extend again, and roll. I guess Rudolph, sorry. Wee, and cat. One more time. And round. And then just go ahead and walk those feet more like hip distance apart. We're going to keep our feet down this time. Earlier we did this pelvic movement in a balanced position. And I said, if you keep your feet on the ground, you're not working the balance, but you are working your pelvic muscles. So we're going to do this for a second. And then we're going to do a little bit of a forward back motion, right? One knee forward, one hip alternating like that, like a choo-choo, like a piston. And then we're going to put those things together. So we're going to go to one side and back, and then the other side and back. So it's sort of a figure eight. And if you want to turn it into a figure eight, I have no problem with that. And then a little shake and bake. We're going to count down. We're going to start bouncing. In a minute, I'm going to count down from 4. You get a little higher on each bounce so that on that last one, you can stand up. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, don't fall off the ball. Ready? 1. Awesome. Nice job, you guys. Happy Big Ball Day.